This is Tom Dillon, the Lifetime Liberal, and today is Saturday, June 25th, 2022. The title of this rant is, Hey Democrats, politics is a full contact, non-physical maybe, war. You've got to start fighting. All right, so two decisions which came down by the Supreme Court in the last 2 days, both of them very restrict women, hurt women. The first one, the firearm one, the one thing we know about firearms is anytime you bring a firearm into a household where there's a man and a woman, the chances of a woman suffering bodily harm from that firearm dramatically increase. And the second one was the overturning of the Roe versus Wade, which, if you could say anything about it, is its effects on women are harsh and inhumane. And of course, this has been a 50-year wet dream of the Republican Party and conservatives in general to overturn this. And if we just look back what happened in the 70s, Roe came out in 73. The Powell Memorandum came out in 73 also. Now, the basic premise of the Powell Memorandum was we need to increase corporate power. And if necessary, we're going to end up doing it by minority rule. So we need to take over all of the levers of power. And by doing that, they showed that they were anti-women, that they were anti-poor, and that they were anti-people of color. And they've largely succeeded in that. And of course, they largely succeeded in that by the end of the first term of the Reagan administration. And of course, the Hyde Amendment, which restricted federal funding for abortion, came out in 76. So they have a long history with trying to restrict women's rights. And of course, many Democrats predicted this, but at the same time, way too many people felt that it would never happen, that this type of restriction would never come about. Now it's about, and what are we going to do? Because basically, we also know that Vice President Pence, former Vice President Pence, said yesterday that they should have a national abortion ban in the whole United States. And of course, if they get the House and Senate in 2022, that's what they're going to do. And of course, if they win the presidency, our chances of getting that are absolutely, it's going to happen. So what can the Democrats do? They have to fight tooth and nail. They have to be adamant. They have to be unapologetic. They must say they will do anything to help women achieve the rights that they had for 50 years. Every single GOP candidate must be questioned adamantly, unendingly on their position on abortion, on all of its restrictions, and how they would vote on a national referendum on that, which would restrict it in all the states. The Democrats must pledge, basically, that they were going to do everything possible to overturn this Roe versus Wade and this firearm restriction, and that you have to vote for Democrats, both in the House and especially in the Senate, so they can get at least 52 votes, because you got to discount Manchin and Sinema. And by having that, they can act, and they will have to, the Democrats must be adamant that we will overturn the filibuster so that we can restore women's bodily rights. And by that, they need to get those 52 votes, the 52 senators, and that if the Supreme Court overturns it again, they would have to say, we're going to fight the Supreme Court tooth and nail on this, and we will expand the Supreme Court or whatever they need to do, because they need to specify day in and day out, unendingly, that they will support women's bodily rights, and that they will fight the Supreme Court to get this done. Now, yes, I know there's gerrymandering all over the place. There's voter restrictions all over the place. But what we have really is a very hostile, archaic, misogynistic Supreme Court. And that has to be eliminated. And Democrats have to stand up on all of these things and every other issue that's going on out there, because they are in the majority on this. They are in the huge majority on this. And they must be adamant in their support of women's bodily rights. And this has to go through the election.